Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's me, Mr. Cameraman, and today we're going to be talking about X-Men Last Stand. So, this is an interesting one. This is part of our July videos. Obviously I'm not filming this in July. This film is so bad. I really just can't phrase it in any other way. I just came out of watching it, and I watched and reviewed X-Men 2 earlier today, like I did back-to-back ones. This film it's just terrible. There's parts of it I enjoy. I will say there are parts of it that are good. And that's in the characters. Because the characters are good. But some of this film is just so bad. And knowing what comes next, because I know that the next film I'm watching is First Class, which is one of my favorite films, not even X-Men or Marvel films, just one of my favorite films of all time. So, I personally, for some reason, just love that film. There's no reason, I'm so excited to rewatch it. For me, I just feel like it's pretty perfect. But we're not talking about this here. We're talking about bad films here. This is just, it's just so boring. Like, the fact that they kill off Cyclops off screen, I don't care about Cyclops. So, honestly, it doesn't really affect me much that they're killing him off. But they also kill off, they basically kill off Mystique, and that was terrible. And they also basically kill off, completely Charles. And I don't know how he comes back, but, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand how they made these choices. Because this film, I think, it doesn't even feel climactic. Because I think there are two plots going on here. There's the Jean Grey plot, which could be cool in its own film, but they've never done it well. And then they also have the X-Men Cure plot, which I think is actually a very threatening villain. If they had a strong villain, like Magneto, but not actually Magneto, they did more with the villain, and then had the villain have that whole final battle, I think this film can actually be very good. I very much enjoy a lot of what this film does. I think the way that they use the Cure is actually very, it adds tension, because kind of like how in X-Men 97, which is very good, they're using in episode 2 the kind of gun that makes it so that they lose their powers. I think the idea of death to the mutants is bad. I think the idea of them losing their powers is even worse. So to have that as the threat of a film, I think could be very cool. And they've never done it again. They read in Dark Phoenix. But I really hope that in this X-Men reboot in the Marvel Universe, maybe the finale of that is the Cure finally being made. And I like the Sentinels. Yes, I do like the Sentinels as, mechanisms to hunt down the mutants. But that's something they can, fight back. I think just something as simple... If the Sentinels had the Cure, then I think the Sentinels would be pretty much perfect. But I love when the X-Men and the mutants as a whole are in a dire situation because they are mutants. I like it when it has the I don't even know what, the words I'm looking for, but, the way, the discrimination against mutants, that's when I think X-Men really works. When it's not just X-Men fighting villains, it's X-Men fighting discrimination, and the villain is showing either supporting that or trying to fight it. And I think they always do it very well. And there's a lot of what I like. There's a ton that I like in this film. Bobby, for starters, is always nice. I like Rogue. I think Rogue's plot in this is very good. And I also like Kitty Pryde. I think that's who's in it. Yeah. Who can run through walls. I really like her. But besides from most of those things, this film is just not very good. Magneto, just after being a villain already, he's not a good... I think Ian McKellen is a good actor. And so is Patrick Stewart, but I think they are so overrated as these roles. I think Patrick Stewart is better than Ian McKellen, but I think compared to what the new Magneto in First Class and in Days of Future Past and what they do, I think that they are way stronger as those characters. And I know that they are still younger versions, but I think they actually, I feel like, embody the characters more. And I think both Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart pretty much are just kind of like old men just trying to play characters that don't always work for them. Like, I don't think they always need to be all so old. And I think also Professor X isn't great in this. And I also think Magneto isn't great in this. So I don't really care that they basically both... I also don't get how Magneto gets his powers back. Like, they really felt like they had to retcon this film immediately after because of how bad it is. Because this film is just genuinely terrible. There is so much that this film does wrong. Like, just to put it honestly, this film does a ton that is just wrong. So, as much as I wish I could say that I think that this film tried to be a good finale, and it could have been, but it was doing too much, and it's not even 2 hours. That's the other thing. This film is short. So, I don't get how this film was passed or made. It just kind of shocks me how they got to, I don't get how they got from there to here. Because this film was, really, thought out and made, and yet there's so many mistakes in it. This is the first film in a very long time that I've pretty much hated watching. This film isn't even enjoyable in, a haha funny bad way. And I like bad films. I've watched a ton of bad films. I have reviewed a ton of bad films. But this is something on a level that, it's one thing, to make there are some bad X-Men films coming up. I'm aware of that. But this film is kind of just, what hurts me the most about this is it had potential. For some of the ones coming up, they pretty much don't have potential from the start. But this one had potential, and they just don't use that. They had places to go, and they just didn't go anywhere. And it just doesn't I just don't get why they made some choices in this film. And it's just so bad, and I don't know how many times I can reiterate the fact that this film is bad. So, honestly, I feel like I kind of have to wrap up this review at this point, because I guess, some of these videos, I feel like I have a lot to say. I just don't have a lot to say here. This film is bad, and that's it. That's all that there's needed to be said. Because there just isn't always more to be said. This film is just very bad. Because, yeah, I just don't know how many times I can reiterate that. So I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.